simple game of hide and seek took a terrifying turn when something completely unexpected unfolded. This footage dates back to December 2023 and was captured by a security camera installed in the children's bedroom. According to the man who uploaded the clip, he and his wife had been playing hide and seek with their kids inside the house at around 9 in the evening. Things seemed completely normal at first, until a frightening and unexplained moment brought everything to a halt. Judge for yourself what the recording shows.
What happened? I know, but we're downstairs.
Heart attack here.
Oh, this is stressing me out.
You're stressed out.
Well, I don't know. I just heard you scream and
I didn't change my diaper.
Oh.
When the closet door swung open, the father assumed one of his children had chosen it as their hiding spot, so he stood there patiently, expecting them to step out, but nobody emerged. He pulled the door fully open and switched on the interior light, and found the space completely empty. That's when the fear really set in, because he understood that the door had moved on its own, and whatever sound had come from inside that closet hadn't been his son's voice at all. Going back through the camera footage left the couple genuinely shaken, and they couldn't come up with any rational explanation for what it showed. As far as they were concerned, what took place that night was beyond anything natural, and they've since come to believe their home is haunted. Elena is a content creator, best known for sharing unboxing clips and glimpses into her daily routine. Her channel had never had any connection to the paranormal or anything horror adjacent, but a recent upload that looked completely routine ended up sending shockwaves through thousands of viewers online. In the footage, she's casually unwrapping gifts in front of her camera when something deeply unsettling sneaks into the frame for the briefest of moments. Pay very close attention.
Vou comer com vocês o melhor brigadeiro da vida, que é da doceria da Lulu. E olha que bonitinho que eu ganhei no Dia das Mães atrasado, mas ela me deu. É espelhinho de bom, vou abrir e mostrar. Olha, que lindo. Deixa eu abrir. Ai, meu Deus. Olha aí. E agora vamos provar. Eu sou, tipo assim, viciada nesse brigadeiro dela. É simplesmente o melhor brigadeiro que eu já comi na minha vida. Nossa, gente.
The instant she holds one of the items up to show her audience, something bizarre appears mirrored back in its glossy surface. A ghostly face flickers into view for just a couple of seconds before vanishing entirely. What makes the clip even harder to shake is the nature of the figure itself. The face looks strikingly pale, with eyes that are completely black, producing an image disturbing enough that many who watched it refused to believe it was any kind of ordinary trick of the light. Once the footage spread across the internet, a number of people theorized that someone else must have been present in the room, but Milena herself has maintained that she was entirely alone during filming and has absolutely no explanation for what showed up in that reflection at that particular moment. and that left everyone sitting with a deeply uncomfortable question. Did Milena unknowingly record an actual paranormal presence, or was this simply an unusual reflection that people's imaginations ran away with? A man named Red Anderson, an Air Force medic and governor, says that the military treatment center where he's stationed has a reputation for bizarre occurrences. Late one night, while recording a Snapchat for his wife, Red unknowingly catches something on camera that is the stuff of nightmares.
But yeah, there's that. Anyway, I just had to take a SEMA real quick. I'll be home in a sec, but I love you crazy.
Did you catch that? Up at the top of the doorframe across the hallway, a pair of dark shapes appear. Two small, widely set eyes staring out from the darkness. The figure then vanishes from view, and as it does, an eerie sound rings out. The thing is, nobody else should have been anywhere in that medical facility at that hour, so Rhett goes to check it out and finds absolutely nothing. It was actually his wife who later spotted the unsettling figure lurking in the footage, and the moment Rhett saw what she was pointing at, it sent a cold shiver straight through him. Man claims he had finally abandoned his own house after enduring what he described as days of intolerable paranormal activity. His hope was that putting some distance between himself and that place would bring the torment to an end. But if his account is to be believed, it didn't end at all. Whatever it was came with him. While recording inside the room, the man slowly pulls back the comforter and angles his camera toward the dark space under the bed. And just briefly, a pair of pale, bare feet become visible hiding down there. Now, skeptics will argue the answer could be straightforward. Maybe there was someone under that bed, a child, a friend, or someone helping him stage an eerie clip. But the man insists that when he went back to check just moments afterward, there was no one there at all. What made the whole thing even more unsettling was the folklore people started attaching to it. Within Latin American paranormal tradition, there are accounts of childlike entities that manifest inside homes, often concealing themselves beneath beds, lurking in corners, or watching silently from just beyond clear sight. Some viewers drew comparisons to the legend of La Niña de la Sombra, known as the Shadow Girl, a spirit said to appear quietly within domestic spaces, before the disturbances gradually grow more threatening. Others connected it to lore surrounding La Llorona, where childlike figures or weeping sounds are sometimes taken as signs of a lingering supernatural presence. But according to the man, things were far from over. After several additional nights of strange occurrences, he placed a Bible directly on the spot where he had first seen those feet. Then, in the early morning hours, he says a voice told him to look underneath it, so he picked up his phone and hit record once more. Beneath the object, those same pale feet and lower legs appear again, but this time the recording captures something far more chilling, a faint whisper repeating a single word in Spanish, ayuda. That translates to help. And that one detail is what left so many viewers genuinely shaken. In paranormal accounts, entities that take on the appearance of children are frequently described as manipulative. They use soft voices, helpless cries, or words like help to disarm a person's fear and draw them in, right before things take a much darker turn. So was somebody hiding under that bed pulling off a deeply unsettling prank? Or did this man actually capture a childlike presence that tracked him from one location to another? Whatever the real answer is, let's hope that voice genuinely was asking for help and not trying to. A woman named Shalon works at the historic Shanley Haunted Hotel in New York, a location with a well-documented reputation for paranormal encounters. One spirit she frequently mentions is Rosie, a young girl thought to inhabit one of the upper floor rooms. Shaylin takes us inside Rosie's room, a cozy little space packed with toys, offerings, and keepsakes left behind for the child's spirit.
Lots of toys, lots of gifts. She has her bunny Jack-in-the-Box she got for Christmas because she asked for a Jack-in-the-Box and she loves bunnies, so Kelly got her a bunny Jack-in-the-Box. And here's the piano that I brought for her today, and we got thank you, an EVP as we were coming up the stairs with the piano to put it in her room, so we're pretty excited about that, and I will post the thank you EVP. Here's Rosie.
Rosie is believed to have resided at the Shanley in the early 20th century. According to Shaylin, she died in 1911 after heading across the road to collect water and never returning. Following that heartbreak, her family eventually departed the hotel. But Shaylin also warns that Rosie isn't the only thing lingering within those walls. Somewhere deeper inside, there's a far more sinister presence, one she flat out refuses to engage with.
Hi, Rosie baby. I'm so glad you're having fun with the bell. Last night when we were investigating up here, you didn't come out and play with us, and you didn't play with the bell, and I was so worried about you. Do you want me to read you a book after I'm done doing the beds? Yeah? Which book do you want me to read? Let's see. I'll say some books, and you hit the bell when I say the book you want me to read, okay? Do you want me to read? Okay, so I'll definitely read you a book. Rosie, sweetheart. You want me to fix it so it actually makes the sound again? Oh, you got it!
At first, the bell stirs gently as Shaylin softly addresses Rosie, asking whether she'd like a story read aloud. But the ringing quickly escalates, becoming rapid and almost frantic before the bell suddenly stops functioning altogether. Shaylin's interpretation is that Rosie was simply having fun with it, though plenty of viewers aren't so sure. Some suspect something else entirely was responding to that name.
I just believe, and I feel. I'm there. I feel her presence. I can feel the difference when Rosie's there versus when I'm not even gonna say who exactly, but there's like a very, very negative, horrible entity.
So where do you stand on this? Was that really Rosie messing around with the bell? Or did something far more unsettling decide to chime in? As always, the conclusion is yours to draw.
What book do you want me to read? Let's see. I'll say some books, and you...
Deep in the middle of the night, a homeowner was jolted awake after his wife told him she'd been hearing strange sounds coming from an old shed at the back of their property. Intrigued and a little uneasy, he grabbed a flashlight and headed outside to see what was going on. Here's what his camera picked up.
Wife just woke up, said she thought someone was playing in our back shed.
As he swept through the yard, he spotted what appeared to be a shadowy figure standing completely still in a far corner. Shaken, He immediately put some distance between himself and whatever it was, but the unsettling activity wasn't done yet. On a separate night, while making another round of the property with his camera rolling, he turned the lens back toward the house and caught something moving near one of the attic windows. Pay close attention.
I'm not really sure what to expect.
Just a few nights later, the same homeowner was once again doing a walkthrough of his property with his camera, this time recording from inside the house, when it captured something that stopped him cold. See for yourself. At the far end of a hallway, the small attic hatch built into the ceiling began shifting on its own. The panel shook and rattled over and over, almost as though something lurking just beyond it was desperately trying to force its way through. There was nobody visible anywhere nearby, making the whole thing impossible to rationalize. When he eventually went up to check the attic himself, he reportedly found absolutely nothing out of the ordinary, leaving the whole mystery without any real answer. Next on our list is a clip from a TikTok creator who goes by the name bizzarebub. What makes this account so compelling is that she's never once dabbled in paranormal content. Her feed is about as ordinary as it gets, but buried among the mundane posts is one video that will genuinely make your skin crawl. According to her, she'd been away from her home for roughly 2 hours, and when she walked back through the door, she headed straight for the bathroom. That's when she began picking up on strange, loud sounds coming from the direction of her kitchen. She grabbed her phone and hit record.
Out of the bathroom. Well, I went to the bathroom, and then I was in my room, and I hear a loud. Oh my gosh! What? You're actually lying. I don't know what to do. I'm actually freaking out. What?
While she's still in the middle of explaining what's going on to the camera, everything suddenly goes sideways. An enormous crash tears through the house, so loud, it sounds like the entire kitchen has caved in on itself. And the whole thing happens while she's still filming. When she swings the camera around to see the source of the noise, the sight is absolutely jaw-dropping. Her kitchen has been completely destroyed right before her eyes. Cabinet doors are hanging open. Belongings are strewn all over the floor. The whole space looks like a grenade went off inside it. Classic, aggressive poltergeist behavior. But here's what makes it even more unsettling. Baz never followed up. No explanation, no second video, no response to the chaos. Just that one terrifying window into her life, and then nothing. So was this all an elaborate setup for a few extra views? Or did something truly dark tear through her kitchen while she stood there watching? A Reddit user, going by the name Runs with Scissors, believes the home belonging to their brother-in-law may be haunted. For several months now, the brother-in-law had been picking up on unsettling sounds coming from around the outside of the house, almost as though something or someone was moving around the property. But every single time someone stepped outside to investigate, there was absolutely nothing to be found. The sounds kept coming back, growing stranger and more intense as the weeks went on, until eventually they began to resemble something stepping directly onto the porch. Again, a thorough check outside turned up nothing unusual whatsoever. Determined to get to the bottom of it, the brother-in-law had a security camera installed outside, aimed directly at the porch. Then one night, the sound started up again, and the camera captured everything. A gate swings wide open completely on its own, and just moments afterward, a porch chair begins swaying back and forth as though an invisible figure has settled into it. After watching the footage back, the brother-in-law became fully convinced he was dealing with something beyond rational explanation. With no other way to account for the nightly disturbances, he arrived at one conclusion: his home was haunted. When the clip made its way to Reddit, the comment section was largely doubtful. Several users pointed to the wind as the most likely culprit behind both the gate and the moving chair. However, the OP pushed back on that theory, noting that the gate had been latched shut. On top of that, a closer look at the footage reveals that nothing else in the frame appears to be moving at all. So the OP remains unconvinced by the wind explanation and believes something supernatural was responsible. But what's your take? Drop your thoughts below. Lisa had done everything right before turning in for the night, personally checking that every door in the home was locked up tight. She climbed into bed without a worry in the world, fully confident the place was secure, but that peace of mind wouldn't hold. Come morning, something deeply unsettling was waiting for her. The front door was wide open. Fearing that an intruder might have slipped inside and concealed themselves somewhere in the house, she immediately pulled up the security camera footage. What she found on that recording only made things worse. The video showed the door swinging open by itself in the dead of night. No forced entry, no one lurking nearby, just the door gradually opening as though guided by some unseen force. And here's the detail that really cuts off any rational explanation. The screen door positioned directly behind the main door was completely undisturbed and shut, which rules out a gust of wind or any human interference as the cause. So what do you think actually happened here? In May of 2025, a TikTok user going by Herb Bayback shared this deeply unsettling clip, recorded by his home security system late at night. What it captured is difficult to explain and even harder to shake. The footage opens on the homeowner's yard cloaked in darkness. For a moment, nothing seems off, and then everything changes. Look carefully, and you'll notice what looks like the translucent silhouette of a woman drifting silently across the property. She remains visible for almost an entire minute before the recording suddenly ends, leaving far more questions than it does answers. What makes it particularly chilling is the nature of her movement. Not frantic or aimless, but steady and intentional, like someone with a very specific destination in mind. A number of people in the comments suggested it could simply be a living person whose appearance was distorted by the camera's poor performance in low-light conditions, which is known to make shadows and fabric look almost otherworldly. Even so, that pale, hazy outline and that unhurried stride are genuinely hard to dismiss. Just who was this woman? Was she cutting through the property for some ordinary reason? Was she searching for something or someone she couldn't find? Or perhaps, even from beyond the grave, she's staying committed to her daily step count, Drop your theories in the comments. Bailey had always been an easygoing dog. Nothing ever seemed to rattle her, so when she suddenly zeroed in on a corner of the room and wouldn't budge, ears perked forward, every muscle rigid, completely locked onto something her owner simply couldn't perceive, that was all it took to pull out the camera.
I don't know what's going on with her. What is it, Baze? I don't see anything. Bailey? What? What is she looking at? Bailey? What was that? Did you just hear that? Bailey? She keeps looking over here. I don't know what her deal is, but something's not right. God, what is that noise? Bailey, what is it? What the? Oh my God, did that chair just move?
The woman looked around the room. Nothing there, nothing she could identify, and then came a sound, and the chair slid. What's striking is that Bailey didn't flinch at the chair, the way any normal dog would if something startled them. She held that exact same fixed point in the room, as if the chair moving was just a consequence of whatever she'd already been watching. Sure, floors settle, old furniture shifts on its own, but a dog doesn't spend minutes locked onto a single spot of empty air right before a piece of furniture slides on its own, unless there's a reason for it. There was something else in that room. Sam Aldrich shares a home in New Bern with his wife and 2 young kids, a house that dates back to the late 1950s. Pull up to the curb, and it looks like any other family residence, but its past tells a very different story. A former occupant reportedly passed away in the upstairs master bedroom, and at some point, the remains of 2 unidentified people were found buried in the backyard. Ever since the family moved in, they've been dealing with things they simply can't account for. Strange sounds, doors groaning open on their own, and their dog Loki trembling in fear for no apparent reason. Sam even took the dog's shock collar off on camera just to rule that out as a factor. The terror continued regardless, and the house has one detail that's hard to shake. A door set nearly 8 feet off the ground, with absolutely nothing beneath it to stand on. While Sam was filming that door, he unknowingly caught a dark, shadowy figure in the shot, along with what seemed like faint voices echoing his own words right back at him.
I'm gonna go ahead and take this off, just so you'll know that there's nothing there. Come on, bud. Hey, it's okay. It's okay, buddy. Tail down. Oh, I posted it. See, me and him both heard that. And see, now he's gonna fucking run and leave me up here like a douchebag. See?
Then on another night, he was recording again up in that darkened, elevated space.
High up that door actually is, if you're on the bottom floor. Yeah, you're looking at 10 plus 8, so you're looking at least 18 feet from your feet coming down. Why the f***?
pair of wide-set eyes appeared, locked directly onto him, then disappeared without a trace. And later, in full daylight with nobody anywhere near it, the rocking horse inside the home began moving on its own. People who've watched Sam's recordings are split right down the middle. Some are convinced he's capturing something real and deeply disturbing. Others are certain it's all a setup. But the house's documented history isn't the kind of thing you can fake. Whatever has been occupying that building was there long before Sam's family ever walked through the door, and it doesn't seem to be making room for them. Our next clip features a grandmother's birthday celebration, with friends and family gathered around her, all joining in to sing happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. At first glance, this looks like nothing more than a wholesome home video of someone filming their gran, and that's exactly what you'd think, right up until the moment it becomes the kind of footage that keeps you up at night. See for yourself what unfolded. As the singing continues, a dark, shadow-like shape darts across the frame behind the grandmother. It moves in a flash and vanishes just as quickly, though not quite fast enough to escape the camera's eye. Viewers who've watched this closely have pointed out that it appears to resemble a child, a young girl, specifically, sprinting at a speed that no human being should be capable of. It may have moved so rapidly that nobody in the room even registered it, yet the camera caught every frame. Now here's where things get genuinely unsettling. According to the description posted alongside this footage, the grandmother once had a daughter who tragically died several years ago. When she was still alive, that little girl used to race through the house playing with her older sibling. Because of this, the grandmother is convinced that what appeared on camera was her daughter's spirit returning to be with her on her birthday. As always, though, the final call is yours. Was this a ghost caught on film, or is there another explanation entirely? This story comes from a couple who run what they describe as a genuinely haunted hotel. Over the years, they've released security footage, recordings from guests, photographs, and old newspaper clippings that document bizarre occurrences throughout the building. Some of what you're going to see might have a rational explanation behind it, but other moments are a lot harder to wave away. In the opening clip, captured on a hallway security camera, one of the owners walks by a closed door. Everything looks completely normal at first glance. That is, until your eye catches a rope dangling from the door handle. With nobody anywhere near it, that rope suddenly starts swinging on its own. The hallway is empty, and there's no obvious cause for the movement at that precise moment. A second clip takes us to an attic space the hotel refers to as the disappointments room. According to the building's history, sometime in the late 1800s, a disabled child was allegedly locked away in this room by his own parents, concealed out of embarrassment. There's a smaller door inside the room that's said to have been used to keep him confined. Whether the account is accurate or not, the room's dark backstory alone makes it arguably the most disturbing corner of the entire property. In a separate piece of security footage, two guests are filmed walking down a hallway during their own self-guided exploration of the building. As they press further along, they pick up something on their recording.
One was in the hall. So, who said this?
Out of nowhere, a voice that sounds unmistakably like a child can be heard saying the word, "hello." What makes this so unsettling is that there isn't a single child anywhere in sight. Things take a turn when the group makes their way to a room the owners call the doll room. As one of the women reaches in to flip on the light, she yanks her hand straight back, insisting that something made contact with her. The entire group bolts from the room, and in the chaos, something else catches the camera's eye. In the far corner of the frame, one of the dolls appears to slowly rotate its head. In yet another clip, a group of visitors is passing by a piano sitting in the hallway when, completely unprompted, the owners later shared a photograph they say was taken up in the attic. Somewhere in the background of the image, a faint figure that appears to be a child can just barely be made out. They believe this presence may be tied to the same spirit connected to the disappointments room. A second photograph, reportedly snapped by a guest, seems to show a woman dressed in what appears to be old-fashioned period clothing. The owners have named this apparition the Haunted Bride, and say she's been spotted by multiple visitors across the years. What lends the whole thing extra weight is that newspaper articles from the 1990s were already describing this hotel as haunted, well before social media gave anyone a platform to manufacture a story like this. These reports didn't start with a viral post. Then things get stranger still. The owners introduced a doll they've named Eddie, which they say moves around without anyone touching it.
Eddie, the living doll, moves on camera again. Haunted doll moves twice when asked.
On their own, a handful of these moments might be chalked up to air drafts, technical glitches, or sheer coincidence. But taken as a whole, with the security footage, the guest recordings, the historical documentation, and the fact that the same spots and objects keep showing up again and again, it becomes genuinely difficult to brush aside. So is this hotel actually haunted, or is there a far more grounded explanation that nobody's found yet? A TikTok user going by the handle @ujaw was home alone one night, fast asleep, when she was suddenly jolted awake by strange noises and unexpected movement coming from her baby's room. Terrified, she grabbed her phone and started recording.
I'm so fucking scared right now. It's currently 1 in the morning and my boyfriend is at work. It's just me and my son. And hold on. I just heard keys. I just heard keys open my door. So I'm thinking he might have come home early. He don't supposed to get off till the morning. So I hear movement, I hear jiggling, I hear keys, and I hear movement in the living room. Now my son's room is across from our room, and we have motion lights in there for him, for when he wake up at night in case he crawl up.
She described how she had been lying in her room when she abruptly picked up the sound of keys jingling and a door swinging open. In tears as she spoke, she made it clear that her husband was away and the only other person in the house was her young toddler son. Shaken and desperate to make sense of it, she pulled up the evidence. Here's what the camera captured.
Completely dark. You have to step in his room to activate the motion light, right? There's 2 of them. Which, if I cut off my bathroom light, I can see that light on from my room, right? Ooh, y'all. So, I'm thinking he went in there to check on the baby because he do that. He always come in the house no matter what time it is and he check on him first. So, hold on, my baby. After a good, maybe like 5 minutes, I don't hear him moving no more. So, I'm like, damn, is he gonna come in the room? Like, you know, like, me and the baby in the room.
Her son's room was fitted with motion-activated lights that only switch on when somebody enters the room or when her little boy climbs out of bed. The light had come on, but her son was tucked in right beside her. That's when she knew something wasn't right.
Bear with me because sometimes I don't like sleeping by myself. This apartment is kind of weird. We just moved here a few months ago and it's just always been like little shit. Like, that's another story though, but so I fucking get up. I get up and I go out here. There ain't nobody here, y'all. There's nobody here. There's nobody here. I turned all the lights and walked.
She went through every room in the house and found absolutely nobody. That realization sent her completely over the edge because she was certain she had heard those keys, and the motion sensor had clearly been triggered. Something had to have moved in that room.
Motion lights come on without motion. I heard keys. I heard movement in my living room. Yeah, I'm not crazy. Like, I heard that shit. Clear as day. Clear as fucking day. Not a dream. And there's nobody fucking here but me and my son.
Oh my God. She stood firmly by everything she reported. The keys, the movement, all of it. The clip blew up and viewers flooded the comments with their reactions. One person urged her to pack her things and get out immediately. Someone else suggested it could be a mimic, and another commenter was simply left speechless with fear. So what do you think was going on? Sabia, a content creator based in the Netherlands, built her YouTube channel around documenting unsettling paranormal encounters inside her own home. Yet for the last 2 years, she's gone completely quiet. No uploads, no updates. That prolonged silence has worried a lot of her followers, particularly given what her final videos seemed to show. On one particular night, Sabia woke to find the light in the room just across from hers flickering on and off. Unnerved, she got up to investigate, but the room was completely empty. She later explained that the light in that room operates from a single switch and that the clicking mechanism is loud enough to be audible from the hallway, yet she'd heard nothing. The switch hadn't been touched, and the room had no one in it. Then things took a turn that made all of this much harder to brush aside.
Oh. Oh.
Shortly after picking up on knocking sounds, Sabia made her way back to that same room. A shadowy figure briefly materialized inside, and right at that moment the overhead lights began swinging, as though something had just passed through. Even if you were to assume the whole thing was set up, some questions still don't have clean answers. Where exactly did that figure vanish to when Sabia went back in to look? And what is it that the camera actually recorded? Some of her viewers pointed to rational causes, a defective switch, faulty wiring, maybe an electrical fault. Sabia, however, later said the switch had been inspected and showed no signs of any problem. Beyond the footage itself, many have begun connecting these strange events to her sudden disappearance from the platform. 2 years of silence has led followers to wonder whether something may have happened to her, and genuine concern for her safety continues to grow. To this day, no confirmed explanation has come forward. So what do you think is really going on here? Drop your thoughts below. It was nearly midnight in the Philippines when Gian and his entire family were gripped with absolute terror. The sheer dread on his wife's face is unmistakable as she clutches their child tightly against her. The family had simply been settling in for the evening together when a loud, aggressive noise erupted from outside their home. Gian's first instinct was that someone was causing trouble out there, but when he stepped out to investigate, here's what his camera picked up.
Ungo na may dire. Pantag tao lang ni patay ng buang lagi.
As he heads toward the disturbance, he finds his window shaking violently, despite there being no one anywhere near it. Unsettled by what he couldn't explain, he retreats back inside, and eventually the shaking dies down, but it doesn't stay quiet for long before it starts all over again.
Ano ni? Eh gawas ako, wait daw. Awa, gawas na to. Awa, bitana na mo. Wait daw. Flashlight na ba? Ang mani lugar ay. Sa mga giungok na kadiri. Giungok naman tahan yung style. Wa lagi, wala gid lagi. Awa. Oh, gawas na to ah. Gawas na ko. Wag gid. Atay man yun. Lira ba di kami? Kami lugaray. Ikimjis. Aliw guguan yung dribi. Kabi naman nani.
From inside the house, you can clearly make out the curtains swaying and the window frame rattling. And when he steps outside to get a better look, he realizes it isn't just the bedroom window behaving strangely. The living room window is doing the exact same thing. Even more baffling is that all the windows throughout the house appear to be affected at the same time. This went on across multiple nights, and the situation even drew the attention of KM Utke, a well-known television news program in the Philippines, who reached out to him directly. So is this genuine paranormal activity caught on film, or is there a rational explanation? That's for you to decide. Security camera had been set up inside this girl's bedroom to keep an eye on her. It's roughly 3 in the morning, well after she should be asleep, yet she's clearly wide awake. Suddenly, she bolts to her father's room in a panic, shaking uncontrollably, telling him she's scared of something up on the ceiling. Her dad assumes it's probably just an insect, checks it out, finds nothing, and sends her back to bed. But when he pulled up the footage the next morning, what he saw stopped him cold. This is what the camera had recorded. can see the lights repeatedly switching on and off, and there's an audible clicking sound that syncs perfectly with each flicker, as though someone was physically flipping that switch. Yet as the footage clearly shows, both daughters were sound asleep, and so were he and his wife down the hall. What makes it even more unsettling is the moment his daughter stirs and starts gazing up at the ceiling, as if something up there has caught her attention. Realizing his daughter may have genuinely witnessed something disturbing, the father starts to spiral with fear for his family's well-being. Over the following days, more unexplained incidents occur throughout the house, prompting him to rearrange the girls' beds in hopes of making them feel safer. It doesn't help. On a separate night, while his younger daughter lies sleeping, see for yourself what unfolds. A glowing orb is clearly visible drifting through her room, and the moment it disappears from frame, 3 distinct knocking sounds ring out, which isn't exactly reassuring. The following night brings even more disturbing audio. Then on yet another night, his older daughter is jolted awake by something alarming. She claims she felt a physical sensation on her foot. Watch this moment carefully. She sits upright and extends her foot, reacting exactly as you would if something had just made contact with it. Confused, she scans the room, assuming her dog must be responsible, but the room is completely empty. With no explanation and growing dread, her father posts the recordings online, desperate for answers. Until any new developments come to light, this one looks set to stay unsolved. This next story comes from a mother named Devon, who says that ever since her daughter came into the world, she's noticed some deeply unusual things. Her little girl would sometimes stare off into empty corners of a room, almost as if she were watching someone move around. There were moments where she could be heard giggling and chattering away to herself while completely alone in her bedroom. Devon even recalls instances where her daughter appeared to be interacting with someone entirely invisible to everyone else. Then one night, with her daughter alone in her room, the baby monitor recorded something that stopped Devon cold. The little girl can be seen wide awake in her bed, laughing and repeatedly calling out the name Jada. Even more unsettling, something that resembles a voice appears to respond back to her. Devon explains that Jada was her eldest daughter, who tragically passed away in 2017 at just 3 years old. Her younger daughter is nearly 2 and was born after Jada had already gone, meaning the two sisters never had the chance to meet.
Hello. Okay, so this is a question that I have gotten several times. So obviously we talk about her often, just like my family, my son. So he was 5. He was 5 whenever she passed away. So he remembers her, he knows about her, you know, we talk about her a lot. And so does my family, but I've never talked to her directly about her. She's only 15 months, so obviously I do plan to tell her about her, you know, eventually show her pictures, videos, and all that. With her being only 15 months old, it's not something that I've even thought about doing yet. So she's probably heard us mention her name, but I don't even know that she would know what we were talking about or who she is or anything like that. So that is what makes it kind of even crazier is I've never talked to her about her or anything like that. And actually, after I posted this the next day, I did show her a picture of Jada and she smiled so big and was like, Jada! So it's just so crazy. I honestly think I'm still just in shock. It obviously makes me very emotional, but yeah, it's just crazy and I just have to believe that.
The very next day, Devon held up a photo of Jada in front of her younger daughter, and according to her, the little girl recognized her immediately. Devon is convinced that Jada has never truly left and is keeping a watchful eye over her baby sister. So what's your take on what's going on here? Drop your thoughts down in the comments below. Alright, my name's Jack, and this story comes from a TikTok that's been living rent-free in people's heads ever since it dropped. It was past midnight when a girl we'll call Jen was wrapping up a visit and sending her friend on her way. But barely a moment after her friend drove off, the rain started, and that's when the camera caught something nobody was expecting. Teenage girl had already stepped out of the shot, leaving the red camera to record on its own, and what it picked up is hard to explain. Creeping out from the tree line, a pale white figure slowly drifted into view before vanishing just as quickly as it appeared. Whatever it was, it doesn't match anything Jen can identify. Not a person, not an animal, not even an insect. And now she's left debating whether her camera malfunctioned or whether it might be time to make a trip to the nearest church. The following video was recorded on a home security camera, the kind most parents set up just to keep an eye on their kids while they sleep. And for this family, that decision ended up catching something no one had an easy explanation for. Both children, a girl and a boy, are tucked into bed together, completely still, deep in sleep. Nothing looks out of place. It's the kind of quiet nighttime scene you'd expect to scroll past without a second thought. But according to the person who shared this footage, something had been feeling off in that room for a while, an unease they couldn't quite name, the sort of thing parents tend to dismiss because there's no way to explain it to anyone else. That changed when they actually reviewed the camera. Watch. In the dead of the night, a game controller is violently yanked off the nightstand by something completely invisible, its cord going taut mid-air before the whole thing crashes to the floor. But that's not all. At the exact same moment, the bed covers depress as if a weight has just settled onto the mattress beside the sleeping children, and the headphones sitting on the same nightstand shift and rock. 3 separate objects, disturbed simultaneously, while both kids stay completely asleep. The parent who shared this footage also points out that just before it happens, the boy's hand makes a small, twitching motion. Whether he caused it or something else moved him first is genuinely unclear. And in the enhanced audio, right before the crash, there's something faint and breathy, too indistinct to make out as words, but there if you listen closely enough. Some people believe what's caught here is poltergeist activity, a type of paranormal disturbance historically linked not to a haunted location, but to a person, often a child or a teenager in the household. The theory goes that this kind of energy feeds off proximity to young people, particularly during sleep when awareness is low. Others aren't convinced by that framing and think the answer is simpler, though none of the simple answers fully account for 3 objects moving at once. What you can't easily explain away is the cover, something pressed down on that bed. The second clip in this set comes from a completely different household, recorded in broad daylight, which in some ways makes it harder to dismiss. A woman and a young man are in the house together when the woman, almost casually, asks out loud for the front door to close. Listen closely.
Close the door. Can you close the door, please? What the?
Come on, let me ask. Open the door if you need help.
What the?
You do?
Oh my! It opened it wide as shit. Oh my god!
Close the door if you need help.
I swear to God, I put it on.
Oh my! Why is it doing? What the? Bro, no! Yes, I knew. Yes, I knew. Elgin, please.
Do you see
Elgin, can you please? It's closed all the way, bro. It's closed all the way.
Open the door all the way if you need help.
This place haunted.
Oh my god!
Close the door if you need help. Close the door.
I'm getting scared. I'm gonna cry, bro.
The door moves on its own, first closing slowly, then swinging wide open on command, then slamming shut with enough force to make the whole room react. Then it opens again. Then it slams a second time, even harder. The woman's voice goes from surprised to genuinely terrified in under a minute, and the young man eventually says plainly, "This place is haunted," which honestly is hard to argue with after watching that. What makes this clip particularly unsettling isn't just that the door moved, it's that it responded. It followed instructions. Whatever was on the other side of that door wasn't wandering or passive, it was listening. Some viewers think this kind of interactive behavior points to a communicative presence, something aware enough to engage rather than simply disturb. Skeptics will say air pressure, a draft, loose hinges, but those explanations don't hold up against a door that opens on request twice in a row and slams shut on cue. So what would you do if something in your home started answering back? The following video was recorded by a man working alone at night inside what appears to be a large warehouse-style retail store, the kind of place that feels entirely different once the customers leave and the quiet sets in. He'd already been hearing things he couldn't explain, and according to his own words on camera, something had been bothering him for a while, and whatever it was had apparently told him, in its own way, to stop recording. He admits he doesn't know whether to laugh from nerves or cry, that he's completely at a loss for what to do. He says he just heard a ball being bounced somewhere nearby, even though he can see no one in the aisle ahead of him. That alone is unsettling. He keeps the camera trained on the far end of the aisle, seed displays to his left, pet supplies stacked high to his right, and just waits. Watch.
No mames, acabo de escuchar cómo botaron esa pelota que está ahí tirada. Al chile me da un chingo de cosa irme a asomar ya. Ya me dijeron que ya no los ande grabando, que ya los deje tranquilos porque me van a seguir molestando, pero ¿qué hago, banda? Si me siguen pasando estas cosas, ¿qué hago? Ya no sé si reírme de nervios, reírme por no llorar, ya no sé ni qué hacer. ¿Cómo vamos? Sácate a la verga. Sácate a la verga.
A pink balloon rolls out from behind the shelving unit with no one behind it, crosses the aisle on its own, and that's all it takes. He turns and runs, his panicked footsteps swallowed by the fluorescent hum of the store. What's hard to dismiss here isn't just the ball moving, it's that he heard something before it rolled. Some believe this is residual energy attached to the location itself, an unseen presence interacting with its environment in small but deliberate ways. Others think whatever is there is aware of him specifically, responding to his presence and his camera. If you take his words seriously, that something told him to stop recording, then this raw rolling out feels less like a random occurrence and more like a direct response. That tension follows him into the next clip, recorded in what looks like the stockroom of the same building. He's already on edge, narrating to himself that he doesn't know what's going to happen, that he's making himself nervous. He pans to an empty shopping cart sitting on the concrete floor, yellow safety lines beneath it, shelves of inventory behind it. Watch.
Desde hace rato se ve como que esa cinta se está moviendo. Y la verdad ya me está dando como un poco de miedo porque por todo lo que ha estado pasando ya ni sé qué realmente es lo que voy a hacer. Ya nada más me pongo yo mismo nervioso, ya no sé qué es lo que pasa aquí. No mames. Otra vez no, otra vez no, otra vez no, otra vez no, otra vez no. Ya, por favor, ya que ya no pasen estas cosas. Anda que me está dando un chingo de mí. No mames, no, sácate a la verga ya. No mames, ¿por qué? ¿Por qué me pasan estas cosas a mí? ¿Por qué? Ya no quiero que me pase nada de esto, por favor. Ya no sé ni a dónde mierda esconderme. No mames, ya.
With a violent metallic bang, the empty cart lurches forward and rolls several feet across the floor, nothing touching it, no one near it, and he completely unravels, begging out loud for it to stop, asking why these things keep happening to him. And just before the clip cuts out, a second thud comes from somewhere off camera, and he cries out one final time. 2 separate moments, same location, same man, and whatever is in that building doesn't seem finished with him yet. This next clip comes from a home security camera, a Ring device mounted in a kitchen, recorded on February 16th of 2024, just before 11 p.m. The house appears quiet, the kitchen dimly lit with nothing but the warm glow of the stove light cutting through the dark. No one's visible in the frame. That changes fast. Watch. A door on the right side of the kitchen swings open on its own, quick, decisive, like someone pushed it from the other side. And then, seconds later, a low male voice whispers from just off camera what happened in there. No one appears, no footsteps, no movement, nothing. That voice is what stops people cold, because it sounds less like a residual echo and more like something that knew exactly what it was asking. You can hear the clarity of it, unhurried, deliberate. So what do you think that was? Now in this next clip, a man has been kept awake by something he can't explain. Loud, rhythmic banging coming from inside his closet, night after night, forceful enough that sleep has become nearly impossible for him. On this particular night, he grabs his phone and decides to go find out what's making the noise. Listen closely.
I really don't think I'm ever gonna be able to stop this shit. Listen to it. Listen to that pedaling. Jesus. I mean, this is my whole closet right here. My kitchen.
The banging stops the exact moment he opens the closet door. Not gradually, not fading out, but instantly, as if whatever was causing it knew the door was opening. The closet is empty. No person, no animal, nothing. And then, just as he pans away, a single isolated bang comes from the direction of the kitchen, with no visible source. You can hear the exhaustion in his voice. Some believe this kind of responsive activity, sounds that stop the moment you go looking, points to something intelligent, something aware of being watched. Others think it could be an entity deliberately toying with him. What would you do? This next clip was recorded at 2 a.m. inside what looks like an abandoned industrial building. A long, narrow hallway with exposed pipes overhead, dark stains on the floor, and a strange trail of white, foamy substance running down the center, like something had been dragged or had passed through not long before. The man filming moves cautiously, following the trail deeper into the building, the camera shaking with every step. There's no one else there. Then it starts. Watch.
The following incident takes place at 2 a.m.
What you hear first is a massive metallic grinding screech, the kind of sound that has no easy explanation in an empty building at that hour, followed almost immediately by a heavy, rhythmic clanking, like something enormous moving through the structure, steady and getting louder the further he goes. He mutters, "What the hell?" under his breath, barely audible, still moving forward. Then the second sound kicks in, a high-pitched, distorted shriek, almost electronic but wrong in a way that's hard to describe, inhuman in its pitch and intensity. That's when he breaks. The camera spins violently, The image becomes a blur of floor and wall, and the clip cuts to black. Some viewers pointed to the rhythmic clanking as evidence of something mechanical, old pipes, a faulty HVAC system, industrial equipment cycling on, but that doesn't account for the final shriek, which carries a quality that's difficult to attribute to any known machine. Others think whatever was making that first grinding sound was moving toward him the entire time. So what was following him down that hall? Now in this next video, a man is alone in his house late at night, armed with nothing but his phone after hearing what he describes as loud banging something that sounds like a door or cupboard slamming somewhere downstairs. He moves through the dark, cluttered rooms slowly, his breathing already unsteady, sweeping the light from his phone across furniture, exercise equipment, and piles of coats near the doorway. At one point he stops completely, fixed on a dark corner, and you can hear his voice drop when he says, "I feel like there's something standing there." He's already shaken. Then things get considerably worse. Watch.
Just heard the banging down here again. It sounded like a door slamming or something. Like a door slamming or a cupboard slamming. What the make sure this door's locked. Sounded like it was either the dining room. What is the oh, it's a dog. Mama. Is that her? Why isn't she moving?
While he's focused on that corner, a sudden metallic crash rings out from the kitchen he just walked through, and when he spins around and rushes back in, his light lands on a utensil drawer hanging wide open and a single black-handled fork lying in the middle of the floor, several feet away from where it should have been. He hadn't noticed the drawer being open on his way through. He says so himself. What makes this hard to dismiss isn't just the fork, it's the distance. Silverware doesn't slide gently out of a drawer and land that far away on its own. Some viewers think this points to a poltergeist, a type of entity associated specifically with sudden, forceful physical disturbances, objects thrown, drawers yanked open, the kind of activity that's loud and aggressive rather than subtle. Skeptics argue the drawer could have already been open, and the fork may have been sitting near the edge. But the witness insists he didn't notice it, and his reaction in that moment is difficult to fake. What sent that fork across the room? The following clip was recorded by a girl on her 15th birthday. The house was full of relatives, music playing in the background, wrapping paper scattered across the floor as she laughed and unwrapped gift after gift. At one point, she picked up her phone to film a short video for her school friends, wanting to show them one of the dolls she had just received. But before she could even finish the video, something happened. Watch.
Bueno, aquí les presentamos a la muñeca de Bessie que se la regalaron a sus 15 años.
As she holds the doll up, its head slowly turns toward her. It rotates deliberately, stopping at an angle that makes it appear as though it's looking directly at her, but there's no visible mechanism inside it. No motor, no battery compartment, no switch. After seeing the video, her parents immediately took the doll away, but the panic wasn't just about the movement, it was about where it came from. The doll may have been purchased by a guest from a thrift store, meaning its history was completely unknown, and that's where the fear deepens. In paranormal lore, objects, especially dolls, are often described as vessels, not because they're inherently evil, but because their human-like features make them symbolic anchors. If something were attached to that doll, removing it from sight wouldn't necessarily remove the attachment itself. Some believe that once an object has been inside a home, whatever is connected to it can linger even after it's discarded. There are countless stories online of people throwing dolls away, only to find them returned to their porch, back in storage boxes, or replaced by unexplained activity inside the house. Others claim that after attempting to burn or destroy items like this, the disturbances escalated, lights flickering, doors opening at night, shadows appearing more frequently. If you were in that situation, if you saw that head turn on its own, what would you have done? Would you throw it away and hope that ends it? Or would you try to cleanse the house? I'd love to hear your thoughts. This next video was captured on a man's Ring camera late at night, and ever since reviewing the footage, he says he hasn't been able to look at his front yard the same way again. Watch.
Caught this on my Ring camera last night.
The movement started from here, and what immediately stands out is the way it moves. It doesn't scatter or disperse like dust caught in infrared light. It holds its shape. The outline remains strangely consistent, almost compact, as it floats forward. Many viewers initially suggested it could be dust, pollen, or an insect passing close to the lens. But typical dust particles caught in night vision tend to expand, blur, or fragment as they move. This form doesn't behave that way. It travels in a controlled path, maintaining structure before slowly fading from view. But that's not the only unsettling detail. In the audio, a faint voice can be heard, like a little girl saying, "We're here." The footage was recorded around 3 a.m., and at this time, no kid should be outside playing. Investigators sometimes warn that entities may mimic children's voices to seem harmless, drawing attention or curiosity rather than fear. But the phrase itself is unsettling. We're here, not I'm here, plural. If it was a trick of the audio system, it's an incredibly eerie coincidence. If it was a child's voice from somewhere off camera, why does it sound so close to the microphone? And if it wasn't either of those things, then what exactly was floating across his yard that night? And if that voice truly said what it sounds like it said, then the question isn't just what was there, but how many. Now in this next clip, a man known online for his extensive doll collection captures something unsettling inside his daughter's bedroom, and it happens while she's asleep. He says it was a normal afternoon, his little girl was taking her nap, the house was quiet, and he was in the living room when he suddenly began hearing loud tapping sounds coming from her room. Listen closely.
What is that? See, it ain't my daughter because she's napping right there on the bed. It sounds like her closet door fell. Try not to wake her up.
There was no one else in her room and there was no visible movement near her crib or bed. And then, after a short while, something else happens.
Whatever it was not even waking her up. Nah. Come on, man, she's in here sleeping. I don't know how that didn't even wake her up. Come on, man. You need to get out of her room. Dude, I'm telling you, that thing was closed, right? Come on, man. Now why is she sleeping? Man, I am good on that. You need to get out of her room. Play somewhere else. What the man? You need to stay out of her room.
People familiar with this family already know that the man collects dolls, dozens of them, many antique, some with glass eyes, some displayed throughout the house. Over time, viewers have also claimed to spot strange shadows in the background of previous videos, objects slightly repositioned between cuts, and unexplained noises when no one else was home. Yet despite all of this, he continues to insist that whatever is in the house feels friendly. But that belief is what unsettles many viewers the most, because entities that begin subtly, tapping, knocking, light movement, don't always stay subtle. Some investigators warn that labeling something friendly too quickly can lower natural caution, especially when children are involved. So what exactly is sharing that house with them? I'd love to hear what you think about this one. The following video is about a man who claims the activity in his home became so disturbing that he eventually had to leave and stay at his girlfriend's house just to get a break from it. It started with small disruptions, unexplained bangs in the middle of the night, doors clicking shut when no one was near them, and lights that would suddenly shut off and remain off for several long, deliberate minutes before turning back on by themselves. He describes those moments as the worst part, standing in complete darkness at 4 a.m., waiting, feeling as if something was intentionally holding the room in silence before restoring the light. Then one morning, around 4 a.m., he woke up to the sound of laughter clear enough that his first instinct was to assume it was his TV, but when he checked, the television wasn't even on. Some viewers tried to analyze his situation, but to prove that it wasn't just the house, he decided to leave for a few days and stay at his girlfriend's place. He believed that if the disturbances stopped, then the house was the source. Watch.
So yeah, I've been staying at my girlfriend's house, but guess what, guys? You're not gonna fucking believe it. The ghosts have followed me here. And she's bugging the fuck out. Her mother is bugging the fuck out. And I'm bugging the fuck out. I mean, I guess I should have expected this, but let's just see what's been going on. Her door has been opening in the middle of the night. This closet door has been opening up in the middle of the night, and it's like hard as to open. We put shit in front of it so it wouldn't open. Hearing all types of knocks, hearing people run up and down the stairs. I mean, this house is 100 years old. And then to top it all off, my girlfriend goes in the shower today, and on the mirror it says, "We are here." And the writing is fucked up.
Look at that R. It's like look at that R. Why is it? Oh my god, I'm not doing this shit. I gotta move out. What the? I gotta move out.
Yeah, so that was on the mirror. I mean, it looks like anybody could have written that, but in person, the way it was written is mad weird. It's like squiggly lines. Her mom tried cleaning it with Windex and it wouldn't come off. And then after all that shit happens, her mom goes downstairs, and she's a very religious woman, and she has like this little, I guess, Bible, would you say it is, or what is it? I guess
a regular Bible.
Like a Bible.
I'm also sick. No memories.
Yeah. So she goes downstairs and looks at it, and she left it closed. She goes down and looks at it, and it's open on the same exact page that her husband and her father died. The same exact day, May 22nd, it says it in the book.
What it says on the page, it's very like you were meant to hear it kind of thing. Like it was just like so weird timing and just like a weird page.
So we're thinking maybe her dad is trying to protect them from whatever I brought in their house. What do you guys think?
According to him, his girlfriend and her mother had never experienced anything unusual in that house before he arrived. To him, this isn't a haunted house situation. It's something attached to him, something that follows him wherever he goes. But there's another layer. He mentions that his girlfriend's house is over 100 years old. Some speculate that perhaps his presence didn't bring anything. Maybe it just triggered something already dormant there. In paranormal belief, certain individuals are thought to act as catalysts, unintentionally amplifying or awakening existing energy in a location. Still, what unsettled people most was when he started having dreams.
What's up? So, I've been MIA. I came back from Cancun, and yeah, I'm tan now. But some wild shit happened to me the other night, and my eyes are going a little bit, but I'm here at my girlfriend's house, and it was around, I swear to God, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning.
It was 3:30, like on the dot. It was like 3:20, 3:29, 3:20.
And I started, she said I was freaking out in my sleep.
I woke up to uncontrollably shaking right next to me, like literally freaking out, like not screaming, but like loud enough to wake me. And he was freaking out, shaking like a seizure almost.
Yeah, and I had no recollection of it at all. Nothing.
Said his name about 10 times, wouldn't wake up. I smacked him so hard across the face, and that's when he shot up.
And I woke up, and I told her I had this insane dream that I was in my house, and like, I don't know what happened. I thought I was sleeping in my room, and I started getting carried away by, looked like, I don't know, these dark shadow figures. They had like these big nails and teeth and crazy eyes, and I literally got picked up by them, and they were carrying me away. And then I told her that, and then I was like, yo, I have this crazy pain on my arm, and I shit you not, yo, this is legit, like this is real. Like Grayson here is like freaked out about it, and so am I. Wait till you see this shit, bro. Wait till you see this shit. Look at that shit. Look at that shit. As soon as she woke me up, I felt something like pain on my arm. And look at that. As hard as she scratches, no matter how hard she scratches, it will not go into my arm like that.
No, this is crazy.
Didn't I tell you though, when I woke up, my arm was hurting?
Yeah, it's 3.
And it's literally 3 scratches. 2 long ones and a short one.
Vivid dreams involving attack, paralysis, or shadow entities are sometimes interpreted as spiritual oppression, especially when they are accompanied by physical sensations. To make matters worse, he began waking up with unexplained marks on his body, and this made many people believe whatever is in that house is after him. But I'll leave you to be the judge of this one. Now, in this next video, a man is simply filming an update for his followers. He explains that he's recently been uploading more political clips instead of his usual original content because he lost hours at his job and is currently searching for a new one. According to him, political topics are easier to gain traction with, and right now, views matter. While he was filming, this happened. Watch closely.
Alright guys, I'm gonna try and make this one quick. This is just kind of update video. People have been wondering why I've been uploading so many news clips, so many political videos, and why I haven't been uploading any original content lately. As you should know, the American election just happened, and I was getting kind of one video. If you follow my channel, you would know it has 28,000 views. And I tried essentially recreating that, and getting a lot of views, through those political videos. Unsuccessfully, might I add. Basically, where I'm getting at is, in order to fill in the lack of original videos, I've been doing these political clip videos. And the reasoning behind that is because here at home, things are a little difficult. I didn't lose my job, but I lost a lot of hours. And I'm looking for new employment, which is inhibiting me from creating new content. Makes it a lot easier for me if I can just, find a video clip of some politician or some news anchor saying something really stupid and get some views from that, than it is. It's easier for me to get views from that than it is, new content at the moment. So, just what I'm saying is bear with me. Yeah. It was weird. Got that on tape. Yeah, that. I know you guys aren't gonna believe that really just happened, but as you can see, there's no one in the room with me here. I've kind of chose this room because it was the only room in my house without someone in here. Yeah, that was guys. This isn't. It's a string, right? But that's just kind of an Ethernet cable. You could, Hey guys, that was pretty weird.
People often claim that activity can begin subtly, small disturbances, objects shifting, electronics malfunctioning, before escalating into something more noticeable. There's also the psychological layer. He mentions stress about work, finances, and change. And in certain beliefs, heightened emotional states are said to amplify unexplained phenomena, as if strong energy draws attention from something unseen. We can only hope this was a one-off situation, and not the beginning of something deciding to make itself known. In the following clip, a group of paranormal investigators acquire 2 dolls from separate owners who both claimed the objects were responsible for disturbing activity inside their homes. According to the previous owners, one of the dolls had been linked to persistent knocking sounds that seemed to follow it from room to room. Lights would flicker whenever it was moved, and one family claimed they repeatedly found it repositioned in places they were certain they hadn't left it. The second doll, the one dressed in a red cloth, was reportedly associated with whispering sounds at night and sudden cold spots that formed specifically around the shelf where it sat. One owner even said her child refused to sleep in the same room with it after insisting the doll blinked. Rather than destroy them, the investigators decided to document everything carefully. They placed both dolls on a table in a controlled setting and began a spirit box session, asking direct questions to see if any responses would come through. That's when something happened. Watch.
Light her back up to red. Look. No! Bring that camera over here!
Oh god, he moved!
Still moving. Did you catch it moving?
I think I did. I don't know. I tried to run.
Again. Look, you see it move? I caught it moving.
If you look closely at the doll with the red cloth, its head appears to shift slightly to the side. It is believed that objects that have been repeatedly associated with fear, attention, and belief can sometimes become what investigators call trigger objects, meaning they act as focal points for activity because of the emotional energy surrounding them. The red cloth itself also caught viewers' attention. In certain folklore traditions, red fabric is believed to either attract or contain spiritual energy, depending on how it's used. If the doll did move on its own, then the implication is clear. Whatever the previous owners were experiencing may not have been imagination. So if something truly is attached to it, then is bringing it into a new environment going to quiet it, or will it simply give it a new audience? Now in this next video, a man named Chris and his wife decided to install security cameras throughout their home after weeks of increasingly strange activity that neither of them could logically explain. It started subtly, small things out of place, the dog staring into corners of the room and growling at nothing visible, footsteps echoing faintly down the hallway after midnight. A few times, they heard what sounded like someone shifting their weight in the living room while they were upstairs. Once, Chris swears he heard a sigh directly behind him when no one was there. Eventually, they stopped brushing it off and installed cameras to see whether the disturbances had a visible source. One night, Chris was sitting in the living room with the dogs resting nearby when something happened that changed how he viewed the house entirely. Watch. In the footage, a chair begins to tilt backward as if someone were physically leaning into it, applying steady pressure with their weight. What makes it more unsettling is the dog's reaction and how they immediately become alert. And then there's the earlier activity, the footsteps, the sigh, the dogs reacting to empty space. When you layer those experiences together, the chair becomes harder to dismiss as coincidence. If someone unseen truly leaned back into that chair, then the implication is chilling. Chris may not have been alone in that living room, but until more updates are shared, this remains a mystery. In the following video, a man is up at 3:30 in the morning when he starts hearing strange noises in his apartment. And before he even goes looking, something has already made itself known. He notices the bathroom light is on, even though there's no one else home. That detail alone is enough to make him nervous, but as he slowly pans his phone camera toward the darkened hallway at the far end of the room, the footage catches something that stops him cold. Watch.
Son las 3:30 de la noche y estoy escuchando ruidos muy extraños. Lo más perturbador de todo es que la luz del baño está prendida y no hay nadie. No hay nadie. Voy a apagarla porque neta me está dando... Hay alguien al fondo. Hay alguien al fondo. Hay alguien al fondo. Ya no hay nadie. Ahí está. ¿Pero por qué? Si la prendo desaparece. No hay nada. No hay nada. What the fuck?
A tall, featureless black silhouette stands motionless in the doorway, solid, dark, and unmistakably humanoid. But what makes this harder to explain is what happens when the lights are switched on. It vanishes instantly, without a trace. And then, the moment the lights go off again, it's back. Same spot, same shape, same stillness. He repeats the test. Lights on, lights off, and the figure responds both times, as if it's tethered to the darkness itself. Some viewers think it's a shadow person, a term used widely in paranormal communities to describe dark humanoid figures that seem to operate at the edges of human perception, often spotted in peripheral vision or in low light. Others insist it's a trick of shadows from a specific object in the room, catching the bathroom light at an angle. But if that were true, flipping the main lights on would just replace one shadow with another, not erase the figure entirely. That distinction is what keeps this one so hard to dismiss. The following night, he's drawn back into another investigation, this time above his apartment, where he'd been hearing noises on the rooftop. He grabs his phone and heads up the concrete stairwell in the dark, and almost immediately, something responds. Listen closely.
Ayer estaba escuchando ruidos muy extraños arriba de mi departamento y decidí subir a grabar. No hay nadie. Y esto tiene candado, no se puede abrir. No se puede abrir. ¡Qué mierda! Yo ya me voy de aquí. Un rostro claramente se alcanza a ver cuando la puerta se abre sola. Claramente se escucha que me están diciendo oye en el video.
A faint voice whispers the word oye, Spanish for hey, just as he starts moving, before he's said a word. Then, at the top of the stairs, the heavy wooden door swings open on its own, slowly and without any contact. And in the brief gap between the door and the wall, something pale and face-shaped appears for just a moment, with two dark hollows where the eyes would be. He checks the rooftop, finds nobody, confirms the fenced area is padlocked shut, and gets out. The disembodied whisper is what unsettles viewers most, because it comes first, before the door moves, before any visual anomaly, as if whatever was up there already knew he was coming. 2 nights, 2 encounters, both in the same building. Whatever it is, it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. In this next clip, a group of investigators have set up a Hikvision thermal imaging camera in what appears to be a hallway or entryway, white walls, grey tile, a pair of white paned doors, and the conversation in the background is relaxed, almost casual, the kind of atmosphere you get when people are confident in their equipment and just waiting to see what it picks up. Watch.
No, it's not. I mean, I called this once right away. I was like,
The thermal display shows a persistent, human-sized heat signature sitting directly on those doors, warm yellows and reds clustered in a shape that the crosshair is already tracking. But when the camera pans to show the actual doors in normal view, there's nobody there. No one standing, no one visible through the glass. Many investigators believe heat signatures like this are residual energy, a presence that registers on thermal sensors precisely because it's no longer fully physical. Others think the explanation is simpler, a warm pipe behind the wall, sunlight absorbed in the material. But the signature stays consistent throughout, and you have to ask yourself, what exactly is standing at that door? Now, in this next clip, a young woman in Connecticut was stepping inside her house late one night in June of 2021, her Ring camera catching everything from the front porch. She'd been standing outside for a moment, waiting, and you can even hear her say, "Because it's not fully dark yet," to someone inside, casual and completely unbothered. Nothing about the moment feels off. Watch.
Because it's not fully dark yet.
The second she steps inside, a pale figure suddenly passes through the background, moving down the street, and many viewers immediately compare it to the appearance of a ghost. Some viewers tried explaining it away as a person walking under poor lighting conditions, but others pointed out how unusual the movement feels, especially because the figure doesn't appear to react to its surroundings at all. It simply passes by in silence, almost like it had somewhere specific to go. And that detail taps directly into one of the oldest paranormal ideas. Across multiple cultures, there are stories of road ghosts, or wandering apparitions, figures believed to repeatedly travel the same streets, paths or routes be connected to unfinished business, sudden death, or routines they carried out in life. So what do you think? A ghost or something else? The following two clips were both recorded in what appears to be the same industrial facility, a backroom space with concrete floors, pale green walls, and the low hum of fluorescent lighting overhead, the kind of place that's unremarkable on every other night. In the first clip, which was captured by what looks like a fixed security camera, the room is completely empty. No one is working late, no one is walking through. Just a metal garment rack with clothes hanging on it, a pair of rubber boots on the floor, and two clad white doors on the left wall. For nearly a full minute, absolutely nothing happens. Watch. the leftmost door swings open abruptly, fast, smooth, and with clear intention, and at the exact same moment, a loud rush of sound fills the room, almost like high-pressure water suddenly forcing through a pipe. And if you look closely at the boot, you'll see it moving like someone trying to turn from one direction to another. But the thing is, no one was wearing the boot. Then the doors start opening, locker after locker. A lot of viewers who've watched the full footage describe it as one of the most sustained, escalating sessions of unexplained activity they've ever seen. Not one event, but a cascade that keeps building until it becomes impossible to stay. Then in the second clip, recorded at night in what appears to be a security or guard room inside the same building, a man sits alone, coughing and breathing heavily, his camera pointed at a closed white door. He's not calm. You can hear it in every breath. He starts speaking in Vietnamese. "There's no one here at all," he says. And then, "It's knocking right at this door." Because it is. 4 loud, distinct knocks hit the other side of that door, one after another, and the man's voice shifts from fear into something closer to fury. Listen closely.
Đấy địt mẹ. Phòng cửa khóa hết đấy. Cái gì? Địt mẹ. Không có ai luôn nhá. Nó gọt được cửa này luôn này. Con người nó được, con người lúc này mà mình đi ra mở cửa là thấy rồi à. Địt mẹ nha mày. Địt mẹ. Địt mẹ. Gò đi. Gò đi, đó. Không có ai mà nó gò cửa này giờ đấy.
He charges the door, kicks it open, sends the chairs stacked in front of it crashing to the floor, and finds a long, empty corridor. Lockers, a sink, a clothes rack, hard hats on a shelf. Not a single person. He circles the whole room, daring whatever knock to do it again. It doesn't. 2 clips, same building, same impossible pattern. Something moving through a space where nothing should be. So what do you think was on the other side of that door? Because whatever was in that facility that night, it wasn't interested in being found. In this next clip, a man is home alone at night when something inside his own house turns violent. He's been filming, seemingly documenting something that's already been going on, when out of nowhere, a loud, aggressive banging erupts from somewhere unseen, rhythmic and heavy, like something is slamming the floor or ceiling repeatedly without stopping. He moves through the dark rooms in a panic, camera shaking, calling out, trying to figure out where it's coming from. It doesn't stop. He runs, slams a door behind him, and within seconds the banging hits the door he just closed. 3 heavy strikes, each one deliberate, each one telling him it knows exactly where he went. Watch.
Hello? Hello? No. Hello? Hello? Fuck.
Hello? What do you want?
What makes this so hard to dismiss is how the source of that banging never becomes clear. No person appears. No animal. Nothing visible explains the force behind those sounds. Some believe this is classic poltergeist behavior, a term rooted in German meaning noisy ghost, typically associated with chaotic physical disturbances and a sense that something is reacting directly to the person present. Others think the energy here feels less random and more targeted, like whatever's in that house wasn't just making noise, but responding. You can hear it in how the banging follows him. What do you think it wanted? This next video comes from a tattoo studio in Chihuahua, Mexico, where a man had been receiving security alerts about movement and strange noises in his shop, a place he describes as increasingly difficult to be around, to the point where he and those close to him hadn't been sleeping properly for days. On this particular night, he heads back to the studio after getting one of those alerts, unlocks the front door, and steps inside to find the room strangely cool, despite the heat outside. Watch.
Se fue el flash a mi teléfono. Eso que si traigo bastante batería. Ay, no mames. Se cerró la puerta. Oigan, nada más voy a apagar y retirarme porque estos días no he podido estar a gusto, la verdad. No hemos podido dormir y miren. Bueno, nada más quería venirles a enseñar poquito de lo que pasa aquí en el local y de lo que ha sido. Agarra el perro. De lo que ha seguido sucediendo, no ha cambiado mucho, nada más se ha quedado un poco repetitivo, por decirlo así. Bueno, los dejo porque esto se está poniendo mal vibroso aquí adentro. Hasta luego y muchas gracias por ver.
He sees a book lying flat in the middle of the wooden floor. The title of that book? El Diablo me obligó. The devil made me do it. He laughs it off a little, calling the ghost creative, but you can hear something tighten in his voice as he keeps moving through the space. He decides to go quiet for a moment and let the security camera record on its own, and that's when his phone light abruptly cuts out despite having a full battery. 3 things happen in quick succession that are difficult to dismiss. His phone goes dark without explanation, the bathroom door slams shut on its own with a sharp, echoing bang that sends him straight toward the exit, and then the security footage, recorded automatically while all of this was happening, shows a bright white orb hovering around the head of a porcelain doll on the yellow cabinet before disappearing, followed by that same book being violently thrown off the shelf and landing flat on the floor with a second loud bang. That's not a book sliding, it's pushed outward, off the edge, with force. Many people who've watched this point to the combination of the cold spot, the phone cutting out, and then the physical activity as a classic escalation pattern. The kind where whatever is present seems to be building towards something other than just passively existing in the space. Some believe the orb near the doll is significant, since objects with fixed, staring faces, dolls especially, are often described in paranormal communities as focal points, things that draw or anchor a presence. Others think the book choice wasn't random at all, that something in that room selected it deliberately. Skeptics will say the door could have been caught by airflow and the book by an unstable shelf, but the security footage makes that harder to argue because you can see the book move outward, not downward. He leaves the shop that night, and based on what he said before walking out the door, it doesn't sound like he planned on going back anytime soon. And honestly, given everything that studio captured in under 6 minutes, can you blame him? The following video was recorded by a lady and her friend Josh, who decided to experiment with a Ouija board and film the entire session. At first, nothing unusual happens as their fingers rest lightly on the planchette, asking questions into the quiet room, waiting for any kind of response. For nearly 20 minutes, everything seems still until this happens. Watch.
Blow out a candle if you're here. Right then.
Lol.
Maybe he's not here. Oh, we're assuming it's gender. Are you male or female?
Yeah. Are you male or female? Are you both?
Are you a male? What was that?
It's probably just a house creaking.
No. Oh my god. No.
No. Right. Close that door. Close that.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Close that door.
Nah. I'm gone. No. I'm.
Without warning, a door behind them slowly opens on its own. She quickly gets up, clearly shaken, and walks over to close it. But another door suddenly slams shut with force, louder, sharper, and impossible to ignore. Ouija boards have long been associated with attempts to contact spirits. Many believe they don't just allow communication, they act as invitations. Invitations for something unseen to step closer, to listen, and sometimes to follow. What makes situations like this especially concerning is one rule that experienced users always warn about. Never remove your fingers from the planchette without properly ending the session by saying goodbye. According to paranormal belief, saying goodbye isn't symbolic. It's a way of closing whatever was opened. Without it, the connection is believed to remain active, leaving whatever answered free to linger. And in this video, viewers noticed something disturbing. When the door first opened, both friends instinctively pulled their hands away from the board. There was no clear goodbye, no closure, just fear and distance. She later explained that after the recording ended, they did say goodbye and threw the board away, hoping that would end everything. But many believe once something responds, simply throwing the board away doesn't undo the invitation, because sometimes the board isn't what brings it in. It's the moment you asked it to come. In this next clip, two friends decide to explore the basement of Danvers State Hospital. They enter through the rear loading garage and slowly make their way down the long, dimly lit corridor toward the front of the building before turning back. The place is quiet, too quiet, the kind of silence that feels heavy rather than empty. But while they were walking, something else may have been down there with them, and although their eyes didn't catch it in the moment, the camera did. Watch. If you look closely, you can see what appears to be a figure walking past. Now, some viewers believe it could be a homeless person who simply didn't want to be noticed. But then there's the location. Danvers State Hospital has a long and unsettling history. Originally opened in the late 1800s as a psychiatric facility, it's been surrounded by rumors for decades, stories of harsh treatments, overcrowding, and patients who never left. Explorers have claimed to hear disembodied footsteps in empty corridors, whispers in the basement, and shadow figures moving between doorways long after the hospital shut down. So was this a person moving quietly in the dark? Or could it be something tied to the building's past, still walking the halls it once knew? I'll let you decide.